I think the far-right movement has been simmering for decades here in the east of Germany. You mentioned there's this feeling there's a two-speed economy and that this side is missing out, and perhaps those who feel disenfranchised have been looking for some sort of nationalist movement to fill what they think is perhaps a hole that they've been left in. I think it's very important to point out, though, that while this part of Germany, and we are in Dresden, is known as the home of some of these far-right movements, the AfD, but more particularly perhaps Pegida, which is even further right on the political spectrum than the Alternative for Deutschland party. You have to remember that there are plenty of people here as well who are horrified by these movements, who are disgusted by what goes on within them, and also really ashamed that people probably around the world think that they might be a part of them and that they might believe in what those far-right movements stand for. And I'm joined by such a person right now. Stefan Heinemann is a lawyer here in Dresden, but also someone who's very politically active. You've been here for 30 years, and you're one of those people that has been fighting against the rise of Pegida and the AfD.
Yeah, this was in October 14 when it started, and that's the first time we didn't think about it. We think, okay, what's that? It was growing each weekend, or each Monday. That's these Monday demonstrations, and all of a sudden, shortly before Christmas, there were 20,000 on the place in front of the Opera House. It was horrible. And then we grow up, and then we said, okay, politicians, hi, what are you doing? And I talked to many of them and said, okay, don't be as upset, it's a movement, wait 6 weeks and they will be gone. And then a movement of citizens started, and we had a big concert in January, I think, or February, January, in front of the Frauenkirche, paid personally by citizens with great musicians against this Pegida movement, but nothing from the government came, nothing at all.
Do you feel let down by the government that they perhaps allowed these groups to flourish when maybe if they'd taken a harder stance earlier on, we wouldn't be here talking about this today?
Yeah, no, okay, one side is they have to allow it because we have the freedom of meaning and everything, freedom of demonstrations, which is very, very important and which must be held very up. So that was what happened, of course, and they had to allow it, of course. But on the other hand, they should have worked more politically against it. So that is the question. And it was only 10 months before Angela Merkel told something, okay, on the migrants coming into the country. At that time in Dresden, there were living 0.3% of not German people.
So you're basically saying that this was not an area of Germany where the migrants were living. And so for you then, when you looked at those people, Pegida and AfD, running these demonstrations, could you understand in any way what it was that what they were trying to say?
Not at all, because all the arguments they're bringing were nothing. Okay, we have to fight against the Islamic, but where is Islamic in Dresden? There was nothing. We have to fight for the Christian values. Nearly nobody in Dresden is Christian, by the way, because 40 years of GDR government demolished all the Catholic and the Protestant churches as well, more or less. And these guys were telling us, okay, we have to fight against everything. No reason, and I think it happened that not only because of Islamophobism, but being not content with the political situation. That was what came up, hanging up an anti-Islamic movement, and then all the rest came. Okay, we are left, we lost, we are losers of the history, even 25 at that time, 25 years.
So it was a disenfranchisement, that's what it was about.
This was the first point, and Merkel muss weg, and that all started after that.
I'm going to have to stop you there. Thank you very much for your time, Stefan Heinemann. It's also worth pointing out that here, actually in Dresden, just this week during the Pegida March, there was a fight back from more citizens, and it was politically organised by some of the more mainstream political establishments here. So there is a fight back going on, and there is a wish to try and do something about this simmering, or not so simmering anymore, boiling movement.